After years of attempted disruption and protests, a major boost this morning for supporters of Australia Day. A new poll out this morning by Resolve has found 61% of voters back January 26 as the date of our National Day. That's up from 47% in just the space of 2 years. Joining us live now, National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, good to see you. So this is not going to stop all protests, and I'm sure they'll still take place in one form or another this weekend. But what do you make of that result?
Well, hopefully it'll put the mute button on some of the louder complaints about Australia Day we seem to have every year. I think this is an Australian custom that we should end. It seems like the last few years, every year it gets a bit earlier, sometimes even before Christmas. We have a national tradition of starting to talk about Australia Day, and I think people have just had a gutful of that, a gutful of whinging politicians trying to grandstand for their own political platforms about our country's heritage and history. And as this poll and other polls show, is the vast majority of Australians are very proud of our country and proud of our history overall. We feel very, very grateful and lucky to have been born or moved to this country. It's one of the best countries in the world, if not the best. And let's just celebrate it. Let's have one day to celebrate. And I certainly feel there's a new vibe in the air this year. Where people have just, as I said, had a gutful.
Yeah. So what do you think that is?
The whinges.
Yeah, I mean,
just want to celebrate.
There has just been this change. What is it? You know, a quieter majority, perhaps, like you said, having a gutful and actually just making their views heard now.
Well, maybe we should all thank Woolworths. I didn't think I'd say that, but I think that might have been a bit of a turning point last year. When a major retailer, well, all of us probably go to Woolworths at some point in the year, and their particular attempt to grandstand on this issue caused a massive backlash. I think just people, as I said, had a gutful of it. That how dare this company try and co-opt this political agenda that was against the interests of most Australians. And as I say, people have just had a gutful of that. Now you're going to Woolworths. I'm back going to Woolworths now. I'm happy to shop there again. And there are Australian flags all over the place. So, the patriotic Australians have won this debate. And let's end it. Let's end this debate now. It's been had. It's been decided. Let's get on to the real problems that face this country, which we do have. Let's fix those.
No, and we'll get to a few of those now. So elsewhere this morning, there's a petition that's almost achieved its goal of reaching 10,000 signatures to prevent Penny Wong, or try to prevent Penny Wong, from representing Australia at the 80th Auschwitz commemoration in Poland because of her lack of sensitivity to the Jewish people over the past 12 to 13 months. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'd like to see Australia represented at such a solemn remembrance. And Penny Wong is our foreign minister, so I'm not saying we should stand in the way of that. Obviously, I don't support all of the positions that Penny and the Labor Party have taken on the Israel-Gaza conflict post October the 7th. But look, notwithstanding that, I think this particular memorial deserves to be recognised with a senior Australian representative. So I'm not sure what the alternative is here if Penny were not to go. Who would replace her as an Australian representative? Obviously, any member of the Australian government represents the views of the Australian government, which, as I say, I don't agree completely with. But I think we could all put those differences aside to reflect on the shocking and tragic loss of life during World War II. And recognise that.
Yeah, OK. And also today, Anthony Albanese is pinning his hopes of re-election to tradies, Matt, with $10,000 payments to apprentices. What are your thoughts on this before we go?
Well, look, it's a little bit too late, too late from my circumstance. We've lost a lot of tradies. About 80,000 tradies have been lost from the pipeline over the past couple of years of this government. This government didn't continue the coalition government's job trainer scheme, which helps subsidise the wages for tradies. That was worth $15,000. So this $10,000 payment seems a pale imitation of what the coalition already had in place. But look, we'll look at the details of this. We're not going to stand in the way of support to get more apprentices, but it's just a shame we haven't had that support for the whole life of this government.
All right, Matt Canavan, good to see you. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.